Good morning, traders. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. It is Monday. I'm sure you are aware of this. It is Monday, the 7th of November. It will soon be Christmas. I hope you haven't spent much on me this year. Guys, as always, we're going to look back at Friday's trades. We're going to look at today's potential trades. We're also going to look at the important news. And we're also going to look at, as part of the recap, guys, we're going to look at how we can stay out of trouble using different time frames. All right. So, yeah, it's really important. It kept me out of a couple of bad trades on Friday. So that will be in the recap, guys. Check that out. Before we start, guys, as usual, I've got a few shout outs. So first of all, guys, if you're interested in opening up a trading account, I must introduce you to our brokerage partner, Equity. So if you want excellent execution speeds, guys, super tight spreads, low commissions, and a great support network, then come and open an account with Equity, guys. There's a link in the video description, and you can just use that to open an account. All right. Secondly, our Discord channel. We love our Discord channel as much as we love Gal Gadot. So guys, so it just keeps growing and growing and growing. There's loads of great information on there and loads of traders that you can share ideas with. So come join that. What else do we need to say? Yes, my live stream this Wednesday, 6:30 London GMT. We are going to do our live stream, guys. So come on, ask as many questions as you like about anything you like to do with trading. Okay, so that's on Wednesday. And then finally, guys, we've got our mentorship program that we're running now. If you would like to be mentored one-on-one with myself, then again, drop us an email. All the information of all of these things is in the video description. Right, let's look back at Friday's trades. I always say yesterday's, but yesterday is Sunday. We don't trade Sundays. So Friday's trades, there were three potential trades. And actually, I'm going to move down the Euro Aussie dollar as well, because we did look at that. But there were three main trades, guys. And the first one was this. This was the Aussie dollar against the US dollar. All right. And we were looking to short this pair. Okay, for obvious reasons. Let me zoom out a little bit just so you can see structure. But price was clearly in a downtrend, guys. Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. These highs here didn't break. Okay, and then it was coming down. So structurally, we were still in a downtrend. Okay, so you can see that clearly with my lovely pink lines. If we zoom in now, guys, we also had, this candle. This was news related. This was the Fed announcements. And then we also had, both of these candles are super bearish. Okay, so the idea was just to take it back down to this blue line here. But on Friday, obviously, we had some news. We had the not NFPs, guys. And this has had quite a dramatic effect on the dollar. So we had real dollar weakness after the NFPs, guys. Surprising, the NFPs were a lot better than expected, but the employment rate was worse than expected. So this is the reaction we got. And this is another perfect example of why you shouldn't trade the news. So guys, but that was the idea. These two bearish candles just take it back down to these lows. All right, so let's now look at the H1. This is always our execution chart. And obviously, guys, we had a couple of candles in our grey zone. So you can clearly see our grey zone, guys. When we have these huge moves, it makes all the candles look so small, and it doesn't matter how much I zoom in, you still can't see it that clearly. Look, even if I zoom in. But anyway, because I need you to see the structure. But look, we had in our grey zone, we had potentially this bearish candle and also this bearish candle. Okay. But there's now, like I said at the start of the video, guys, I'm going to show you how we can use different time frames to stay out of trouble. any like you could train a chimpanzee to plot support and resistance zones. Yeah, they're quite clear. They're not that difficult to spot. Everyone's looking at the same zones. Yeah, am I right? Yes. But it's another thing how to trade once they get to them grey zones. Yeah, so the real skill of trading is knowing when to enter and knowing when to stay out. Yeah, that's the real skill of trading. Yeah, once it gets to our support and resistance levels, should I take the trade? Shouldn't I? So let's look at a couple of things that will help you with that. So yeah, we've got these two red candles, okay, and arguably good entry candles. Come up to our grey zone. Yeah, we enter, we take it lower. Okay, but I stayed out of this. The Aussie dollar, Canadian dollar, also similar scenario, but I will show you them both. But I mentioned this on the Discord channel. I said I won't be trading it, guys. And let me explain why. So first of all, there's a few, basically there's some red flags. All right. So first of all, H1 structure, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lots of indecision. Okay. And then we've had a break of this last high here. Okay, so once that breaks, firstly, we're not with H1 structure. Okay, and you know how much I love to be with H1 structure. Okay, so that's the first red flag. Second red flag, why I didn't enter these candles, is the H4. Yeah, look at the higher time frames, guys. Yeah, you must. Look at this candle. Do you want to sell that candle? If you do, you are crazier than Albert Einstein. I don't know if he was crazy. But yeah, we do not want to short into that H4 candle. That is super bullish. Very little top wick, very little lower wick. It's just super bullish. All right. So secondly, we do not want to short into this candle. So we've got H4 bullish candle. This tells us, yeah, maybe we don't want to take this trade. And then we drop down to the H1 structure. And yeah, H1 structure is now in an uptrend. Okay. So two red flags there. So that made me stay out. But what we can do, guys, after this, let me go back to the H4. Yeah, after we've had this very bullish candle, we can then bide our time, wait to see what the chart tells us, wait to see what the chart does. It's still not a definite, it's not a definite, we can't short this for the rest of the day. Let's see. Yeah, it turned out that we couldn't, but let's see what happens. Okay, so what we can do, guys, is then see how the H1 reacts. Okay, and what we're getting is more bullish candles. Yeah, once this one breaks these highs, again, we're not interested, yeah? So I'm just showing you all the things I'm looking at to stay out of trouble. So H1 tells us after this candle, stay out. But then also, guys, which I've been doing a lot, and I know I've mentioned to you guys, is use the M15 chart to stay out of trouble. Yeah? So let me zoom out. So this was that H1. This is the M15 chart. But this is that H1 structure I was showing you. Yeah? And it broke. Okay, so when it gets to this zone, therefore we're interested. Remember, we had that large H4 candle, but we can see our price reacts. Let's see if we can get in. Yeah, and then we zoom into the M15 chart. Again, difficult to zoom in because everything's so large. Yeah, and then what I'm looking for, guys, is a break of this structure. And these lows hold. Yeah, we don't get a break of structure. If anything, structure starts coming up. News happens, and then before you know, guys, we haven't had a M15 structure break either. So don't get into the trade. Yeah, this is a technique to keep you out of bad trades. So use the different time frames, H4, H1, M15, see what they are telling you to keep you out of trouble. This is a very important skill. Okay, so for me, guys, for all of those reasons, no trade on Aussie dollar, US dollar. Okay, the next trade idea was this. It was the Aussie dollar against the Canadian dollar. So obviously we're seeing a little bit of Aussie dollar weakness. And again, guys, for me, this was in a downtrend. Yeah, so we had lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, price come back up to here. Yeah, lower high. And then we had quite a bearish reaction, including this candle. And price was just telling us sellers are in control. We could come lower. Yeah, take it back down to the lows. All right, so we've got structure with us. We've got the candles. If I zoom in, I mean, look how bearish these candles are. So everything is telling us to short this pair. All right, so that was the idea, guys. Again, this was another perfect example of using the information that the candles and the structure is telling you to stay out of trouble. So let's take a look at this one, guys. Again, it's a similar trade to Aussie dollar, US dollar, slightly different, but there's some red flags, guys, why we shouldn't enter this trade. Okay, so the first one is this H1 structure. Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. There's a little bit of structure here. Yeah, because you can see it was once support and then became resistance. And then when this breaks, yeah, we have a H1 structure break. Okay, so that's the first red flag. We've got a H1 structure break. But then, yeah, we get this lovely candle that forms at our grey zone. Yeah, yeah, and at this high here. So, you know, we would be thinking, my God, this is a brilliant trade. Look at the bearishness of that candlestick pattern. It's hitting this last high. But again, we need to look at different time frames, guys, to keep us out of trouble. I cannot keep expressing this enough. Yeah, because in the Discord channel, you're like, Tom, we've got the bearish engulfing candlestick pattern in our grey zone. I'm going to short it. Sometimes it is that easy, guys. Sometimes it is that easy, but most of the time you need to look in depth at what is happening. Okay, so yeah, again, yeah, H1 structure was a red flag. All right, we got this bullish candle. Yeah, again, look at the H4 chart. Look at this candle that we see. Yeah, this was that candle going into that bearish candle, bearish H1 candle that we saw. Again, do not want to short this H4 candle. Yeah, really do not want to short that. Okay, so red flags. Yeah, so we've got a H4 super bullish candle. We've got, now this is H1. We've got H1 structure not quite with us. And then again, drop down to the M15 chart. Take a look at that. See what that's telling us. So, yeah, in an uptrend, once it comes down to here, once it comes up to here, this was that H1 bearish candle. Okay, so this is now the last M15 low. Okay, so what I would be looking for is perhaps for shorts, if perhaps price structure did something like this. Yeah, break an M15 structure, then I could come low. Then I could take shorts. But that doesn't happen, guys. Instead, yeah, we don't really get, this is news. So that was, whip down, come back up. But we just don't get a breakdown in M15 structure. Okay. So, guys, yeah, use all the different time frames to, not all of them, but if you're executing on the H1, look at M15, H4, okay, and the H1, obviously. So use the different time frames, listen to what structure is telling you, listen to what the candlesticks are telling you. So important, guys. It will keep you out of a lot of bad trades. Some people use indicators to keep them out of bad trades. I use price action and the different time frames. So for that reason, guys, let's go back to the H1. No, this is the 30-minute. What am I doing? Yeah, so back to the H1, guys. So we saw this candle, but again, I put it in the Discord chart, Discord channel, guys. I said I am not trading this one. Yeah, and I didn't. Stayed out for all of those reasons, and look, it kept me out of trouble. We'd have had a losing trade. All right, guys, so no trade for the first two, and then Euro Canadian dollar. This was our third trade idea, guys, and we were looking to short this pair. So price was clearly in an upward channel using this grey zone as support, and then it broke. Okay, so we've had a break out of our channel. Also, guys, if I zoom in, yeah, this was the last swing low here on the daily chart. Yeah, this area here. Okay, and then even that broke as well. Okay, and we had a bearish candle. So we've had a break out of a channel, we've had a structure break, and we had a bearish candle. What was not to like to take this back down to this blue line? And as you can see, guys, it hit our blue line and some. All right, but let's see if we could get in on this pair. And the frustrating thing for me, guys, was we couldn't. Yeah, so, yeah, remember we were looking at the charts around here. And it just didn't come down, guys. It didn't retrace, guys. Yeah, so once it come down, yeah, I was looking for a potential another retrace into here and then down. But as you can see, guys, price just came down. Yeah, we had this bearish candle here, but the risk to reward to my blue zone is just not worth it. Yeah, put my stop here, enter here. Yeah, the risk to reward wasn't worth it. So again, guys, I didn't have a trade on Euro Canadian dollar, but the direction was very good. Okay, so yeah, no trade there. Quite a frustrating day, but I would rather have a frustrating day than a losing day. Yeah, so Aussie dollar, you know, Aussie dollar, US dollar, Aussie dollar, Canadian dollar, I stayed out of trouble. Euro Canadian dollar just didn't give me a setup. I couldn't get into this pair. And this was yeah, it was a kind of trade idea, Euro Aussie dollar. Remember, I just didn't like H1 structure. And we had an interesting candle form on Friday. Look, you think, right, it's breaking this grey zone, but then this wick closes back into this grey zone. So if anything, it's still a buying opportunity. Yeah, this grey zone has held. All right. But yeah, we were looking at this, guys, because it was clearly in an uptrend. Yeah, and it was using this zone here as support, kept using it as support, and we were potentially going to take it back up to these highs, if you remember rightly. But the thing with this pair, guys, was I didn't like H1 structure. Yeah, once this candle had broken these lows here, yeah, I just didn't like H1 structure. And then it just came down, 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 down. This was news, and then pinged back up into this grey zone. So for me, this is still potentially, because this grey zone held, if we start seeing structure on the H1 do something like this, yeah, then we can start entering the trade long, because that grey zone has held. But for those reasons, guys, we never had H1 structure with us. There was never a buying opportunity here. So just thought I'd show you that. But an interesting day candle on Euro Aussie dollar, still looking for longs as a result. All right, guys. So yeah, that's the recap. Remember to look at different time frames, price action, to keep you out of trouble like it did me on Friday. Like I said, I'd rather have a frustrating day than a losing day. And I just didn't have a trade, guys, yeah, on those pairs. So yeah, that's the recap finished. Let's look at today's trade. So, guys, yeah, no trade on Friday for the reasons I explained in the recap. And, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the recap, guys, and really learned from that using different time frames to stay out of trouble. If you didn't look at that in the recap, guys, check that out. Use all the information available to you on the charts to stay out of trouble. Very, very important. Yeah, and if you enjoyed that, guys, then please come join us. Yeah, subscribe to the channel, smash that notification button, and also smash the like button, guys. Much appreciated, amigos. Guys, before we look at today's trade ideas, again, a couple of shout outs. So, guys, if you're thinking of opening up a trading account, then please consider our brokerage company, our brokerage partner, Equity. Yeah, I use them. They've got excellent execution speeds. They've got super tight spreads, low commissions, and a great support network. So if you are thinking about opening up a trading account, then please, click on the link. All the information is in the live description, guys. That first of all, Discord. Yeah, we love our Discord channel. It is blossoming into a beautiful rose. Loads of great information, loads of traders sharing ideas. Get on Discord, guys. Thirdly, live stream. Yeah, on Wednesday, 6:30 a.m. London GMT. Get your thinking caps on, get all your questions ready. Ask me about anything to do with trading, and I will answer every single one of your questions. Join us for that, guys. And the last thing is the mentorship program, guys. So if you're interested in being mentored by myself one-on-one, then please drop us an email. Again, all the information for all of this is in the video description. All right, guys. So, yes, trade ideas for today, for Monday, the 7th of November. So I think we should start with the US dollar and the reaction from Friday. Yeah, it was a strange reaction because NFPs were far better than expected, but the employment rate was a little bit worse than expected. But it meant US dollar weakness is basically what it equated to. And another perfect example of why we shouldn't trade the news. Yeah, so this is Euro US dollar, guys. You can see we've had this huge reaction at this level. And it's led to a couple of potential trade ideas for US dollar. This was a potential trade idea, guys, Euro US dollar, because, we are structurally still in an uptrend. Yeah, so what's to say we won't get back up to these highs? I think we will. So this is a potential trade idea, guys, Euro US dollar. It's not that I'm showing you a few US dollar pairs and these are tradable, but I've got one particular US dollar major pair to look at. Euro US dollar, structurally we're still with trends. So yeah, this could quite easily come back up to these highs. I'm going to show you how I like some US dollar pairs over others. The next one is this. This is the US dollar Swiss franc. Again, at these highs, we've had a huge rejection candle. But the problem with this one is, guys, there's buying pressure here. Yeah, you can see this area here. That's been an area of resistance, support, and support again. So yeah, less desirable to keep shorting this pair because we're already in a bit of buying pressure zone here. Again, pound US dollar. Yeah, structurally, we're still in an uptrend. Yeah, but it's broken out of this channel and this grey zone's quite important. So buys for this one are not as desirable. Okay. Yeah, so I'm just showing you all the US dollar pairs and what I'm thinking. New Zealand US dollar. Again, this is still nicely it's in an uptrend. Yeah. Once these highs here were broken, we've been in an uptrend. But this candle is basically coming to a high here where we had a huge wick rejection. So again, I still think potentially this can come higher, but not my number one trade idea. And let's look at Aussie dollar, US dollar. The thing with this one is it hasn't left its downtrend. Yeah, so this was in a downtrend. And until these highs here are broken, it still is. Yeah, we are getting higher lows, but let's see. It's sort of coming back up to this area of support here. If it breaks this, yeah, we get a candle like this, then great. Okay, but this is still in a downtrend. But the one I like is this, US dollar against the Canadian dollar. All right, so this is the one I like, guys. I'm not saying the other US dollar pairs are not tradable. They are. But my first trade idea for today is this. This is the US dollar against the Canadian dollar. And I like it because it's just broken out of these lows. Yeah. So arguably, this is a very large box of indecision. Yeah. Yeah. It's just a trending market, arguably. Okay. But then we've got this huge bearish candle that's broken these lows, and we like it. Yeah. So we're looking for shorts, guys. Okay. So yeah, so that's my US dollar major pair of choice, the US dollar Canadian dollar. So for those reasons, I like it. Let's sort of try and find a target. And for me, I usually like to go down to the next psychological levels. So we could, first of all, come down to the 3,400 level, but then obviously we've got potential support here as well. So yeah, these are our longer term targets. Okay, guys, but we are looking for shorts. You can see how this low has broken out of this grey zone. Okay, we like that. So let's take a look at H1 now to see how we can get in on this pair. And you could not have scruffier price action. So this grey zone was obviously that daily grey zone that has been broken. You can see it's broke here. Okay, so that is a potential area that we can start shorting from. So if price comes back up to here, we get a bearish reaction, we can then start shorting it. We probably won't get 1:1 back to the last H1 lows. Yeah, so you will have to let the trade run a bit before we close 80%. But yeah, take some profit in these volatile times and then let 20% run, guys. All right. So yeah, and then I also think it could potentially have, because it was room to retrace. But looking at this, I mean, it's so difficult. Yeah, you've got all of these different areas. It's so difficult to pinpoint an area, so difficult to pinpoint a grey zone without making it humongous. Yeah, if I could do a grey zone like this. Yeah, but it doesn't, I'm basically saying you can trade from anywhere. But yeah, this grey zone is important. But then what I perhaps would happen is a retrace up into our moving average 20 somewhere. Yeah, as long as we're still with H1 structure, yeah, then we can short this pair. So if we got something like this, come back up, we've got a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern, perhaps an M15 structure breakdown as well, then we can start taking price lower. Come to these last lows, close 80%, and then leave 20% to run. But yeah, try to be with H1 structure with this pair, and also perhaps see an M15 structure breakdown as well. So yeah, this US dollar, Canadian dollar, we're looking to short this pair. That is the first trade idea. The second trade idea is Bitcoin. Yeah, ever since it broke out of this grey zone with this candle here, yeah, this grey zone was the all-important grey zone. It's been in an uptrend. Okay, so if we just, yeah, as you can see, the grey zone was important. This grey zone was important. Eventually it's broke. It's now, yeah, done nothing. A box of indecision, if you like. And then we've got this bullish candle that's also broken these highs. Yeah. Again, what's not to like? Yeah. And we could potentially take price back up to these last highs here. So Bitcoin, yeah, a buying idea as well. But this is also a result of US dollar weakness from Friday, obviously. All right. But structurally, we like this. For longs, if we look at the H1 chart now, guys, we've got a couple of things that can happen. So this large grey zone here, that was that daily grey zone that we were looking at. But what could happen is price come back down to this grey zone, which corresponds with these last H1 lows here. We get a bullish reaction, enter the trade, take price, first of all, back up to the last H1 highs. This is always my first target. Close 80% and then leave 20% to run for 12 years. Yeah, and then retire. But no, guys, yeah, close 80% here and let 20% run and just trail your stop. Because of the bullishness of that daily candle, guys, what might happen is, let me keep zooming out. Okay, I can't keep zooming out. It doesn't. But yeah, just sort of a break and retest, guys. You might see this happen as well. So that's also potentially an idea. But I would like price to retrace towards this moving average 20 a little bit before it comes back up. But yeah, you could see this break, retest, and up we go. All right, guys. So Bitcoin against US dollar, we're looking to buy that pair. And then the final trade idea for today is the pound against the Aussie dollar. Remember pound New Zealand dollar? We were looking at the head and shoulders pattern. I just wanted to mention head and shoulders pattern. It's nothing to do with this trade. But yeah, so this gray zone here, let's start on the weekly chart, guys. This gray zone here has become a good weekly area of resistance. Okay. Yeah, we can clearly see that. However, weekly chart is in an uptrend. But then if we drop down to the day chart, yeah, we've seen on Friday's candle, yeah, we were in an uptrend, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, didn't create a higher high. What does that always tell us? Price could be breaking down, and then sure enough, it breaks down, breaking these lows. Okay. If I zoom in, I'm not the best at zooming in. I don't know if you've noticed that. But yeah, this candle here has broken these lows. You know, I'm a little stickler for wicks. I've got a funny problem with head and shoulders patterns and wicks. I sort of have sleepless nights about. But this wick here annoys me slightly, but this candle is still bearish enough to start taking price lower. And it's just to take it back, because of that weekly chart is still in an uptrend. I just want to take it back down to these lows here and that psychological level of 7,400. But on pound Aussie dollar, that's still 3 million ticks. Now that's about 160 pips, whatever you want to call them. All right, so then let's drop down to the H1 chart, guys. And yeah, this is what we want to see, guys, is potentially a move back up into this grey zone. We want to see a bearish reaction. We can then enter the trade, take price back down to these lows, close 80% at that level, and then leave 20% to run. All right, guys. So yeah, they're the three ideas for today. US dollar, Canadian dollar short, although there are other opportunities on the other US dollar major pairs. Bitcoin US dollar long, and pound Aussie dollar short. All right, guys, so they're the trade ideas. Let's take a look at the news now. So guys, if you're enjoying this daily morning analysis, I hope you are, then why not come join us? Subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button, and also smash that like button, guys. Yeah, much appreciated. News for today, for Monday the 7th of November. So a light news day, guys, yeah, so nothing really happening overnight. The only real piece of news that we're interested in is this. At 8:40 London GMT, we've got the head of the ECB, Lagarde, speaking. So she could move the euro. But then other than that, guys, as you can see, a pretty light news day. So, yeah, you are free to trade. And guys, like I say, if you've enjoyed the vid, please subscribe, like, and share with your trader friends around the world. I hope you have a fantastic trading day, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.